Hi everyone, this video is going to show you how to create a fill-in-the-blank question. So first you're going to want to make sure that you have the question with you along with the topic, ACP appendix, and the cognitive level. You're going to want to make sure that you have that in a Word document or written down somewhere, and then you're going to want to go ahead and log into ExamSoft using your Neomed email address and your password for ExamSoft. Once you come to the main page of ExamSoft, you're going to want to go ahead and click on Create Questions. And then you're going to want to go on Create fill-in-the-blank/matching. And you're going to want to go ahead and write down the ID number so that way you have it to add to the assessment later. And then you're going to want to go ahead and select the folder that the question needs saved to. So this is going to be a Pharmacotherapeutics 1 nephrology question. If you need to group the question, you're going to want to go ahead and do that here. If you need more instructions on grouping, I discuss it in some of the other videos, or it's also in the tip sheet that you've been provided. Next, you're going to want to go ahead and add your categories. So I am in the Pharmacotherapeutics 1 renal module, so here you just click on what would be a plus sign and go to Pharmacotherapeutics 1, the nephrology, urology, CPK module, topic, and then I'm going to scroll on down to monitoring renal function since that's my topic. Then I'm going to go down to the ACPE appendix, and that's A1CS08, which is under the learning outcomes, external ACPE Appendix 1. So I go ahead and click on it. And then last, I need the cognitive level. So I scroll all the way down to the bottom, click on level of difficulty, and this is an intermediate question. Once I'm finished, I can go ahead and hit done. And then again, if you need to change the weight or make it partial credit, this is where you're going to do that. If you have a really large attachment that the students need to be able to view, you'll put it here. If it's smaller, you can embed it here. Again, I talk about that in some of the other videos, and it also is discussed in the tip sheet if you need further information as to how to attach an image versus embedding an image. Next, we're going to go ahead and add in the question to the question stem. So first, you're going to want to go ahead and copy and paste this into a new Word document in order to remove any of the formatting and also change it to Arial 12-point font. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut. And go ahead and paste in here. And again, you can paste a couple different ways. You can paste using this function, and then you just go ahead and paste it in here. If you right click and hit paste, the same box comes up. Again, I like to use the keyboard functions. I just find that it's easier. So once you have your question in the question stem, you need to actually go ahead and add your blank, but just know you actually need to put your cursor where the students are going to actually place the answer. Even though when you add the blank, they're going to type the answer in here, when the students are actually taking the assessment and they type their answer, they'll see the answer in the question stem. So you just want to make sure that you put your cursor where you actually want the blank to be inserted in the question, so the students know where the answer needs to go within the question stem. Along with that, you also need to be a little bit particular about how you enter the questions in here. So for example, if we come back to the Word document, you'll see I have my answers here. I've got 97 with milliliters per minute, just the number 97, and then I have 97 milliliters per minute without a space. The reason for that is because ExamSoft is auto-grading this. There are multiple answers that the students could choose to enter, and you want to try to put as many of those possible answers into ExamSoft so that way the question or the answer that the student provides doesn't come back as incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead and paste the answers into the answer stem, and you'll notice on the Word document there are actual bars in between each answer and at the very end of the answer. You have to have those because that's how ExamSoft reads basically each answer as a separate but correct answer. And you'll notice there's not a bar at the very front. So you don't put a bar at the front, but you put a bar in between each correct answer and at the end of the very last correct answer. Another question that I found that is also very good for seeing this, just so you know how many possible answers you could actually have, is a question that I found for pediatric pharmacotherapy. And this is nice because this is also a question that needed to be grouped. So you see we've got this case as part of a series of questions. We've got the actual case, and then any of the new information regarding the case is separated by that line, which again I talk more about in the tip sheet if you need more information on when to include that. So as you can see in this question, the course director was willing to accept a range of answers. So for Part 1, she was willing to accept 385 to 395, and in 2, she was willing to accept 190 to 200. So again, I had to go through and just do the numbers with milliliter per hour, and just try to go through and make sure I thought of every possible answer, so that way almost no matter what the students would type in, ExamSoft would see it as a correct answer. So just know if you're willing to accept a range, you need to include all of the numbers and text after in order for the students to get the answer correct. Now, with that being said, there is also a limit of how much text you can enter in to the answer stem. So for example, in the Word document, I don't have this last part included because ExamSoft there wouldn't have been enough room in the answer stem for me to then also include that in a whole nother section of answers. And again, you see I have the bar in between each correct answer and after the last correct answer. So then once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and hit approve. Again, I don't want to hit save because save will only save the question as a draft. And then I wouldn't be able to access it once I try to put it on the exam. So I'm going to go ahead and hit approve. I'm not going to because this question is already in the pharmacotherapeutics question bank, but then once I've added all of my questions to the exam, I'm going to come up here and hit log out because unfortunately only one person at a time can edit an assessment in ExamSoft. So if more than one person are trying to get into ExamSoft to edit the assessment, it will show that it's locked by another person for editing. So you always just want to make sure that you go ahead and click log out. And this is how you create a fill-in-the-blank question in ExamSoft.